taking over as the new representative of the District of Columbia, Maryland, NBA. Hey, ain't gotta agree with what I said, but soon you're gonna face the facts to what I say.
Thanks for joining us at the Tri-State Report, the port of the girls basketball in the DMV. Today we'll be talking to two young ladies in our Who's Next segment that we all should be familiar with. Georgetown University commit Taylor Brown and Ole Miss University commit Amber Singletary. We will visit with a pioneer of grassroots basketball, Boo Williams, in our Spotlight segment. In Coach's Corner, we were on location in Hampton, Virginia at the Premier East Invitational to ask a couple of coaches why the DMV is so important in their recruiting process. Tonight, in our first Who's Next segment, we will talk with Taylor Brown. Taylor, a Georgetown University commit who will continue to give fans of the DMV a treat every time she plays. Let's see what Taylor has to say about staying in the DMV.
Playing at McNamara, it was a great experience for me. It was very competitive. I had to compete against one of the top players my freshman year, coming in playing with 5 players who went to all D1 schools. Coming into high school, I knew that was one of my goals, that I wanted to get a scholarship to play college basketball. I chose Georgetown because I felt like what I knew was the best fit for me once I visited the school, met the coaches and my teammates and stuff, and I just fell in love with the school. The campus, it's one of the best schools to get a great education from, so I felt like Georgetown was the best school for me. After my sophomore year, I knew I could play at the next level because that's when I developed my game, and I got more stronger, more better, and I started, preparing myself for the future. My goals for college is to graduate after 4 years, get my degree, win a national championship, and average a GPA over 3.5. After basketball, I plan on owning my own sports complex center. I want to give back to the community and have like tournaments and stuff, like my own gym for young girls when I was young to have the same experience. Advice I would give the young ladies in the DMV is to work hard every day. Try not to take days off because it pays off at the end.
One thing you would say to the young ladies of the DMV.
Who's next?
I'm Boo Williams. You're watching Tri-State Report.
I'm here now, and I'm just going to continue to work hard and try to, excel. Oh man, the program is just so much more thinking involved. It's more mental than anything. College is a little bit more physical, rigorous activity, and you got to do a lot more gut work. And here it's just a lot of mind games, a lot of mental toughness, and just thinking.
What's the one thing you would say to the young ladies of the DMV?
Who's next?
Welcome back to the Tri-State Report. It was good to learn why Taylor wanted to stay in the DMV and allow the area to continue to see her grow. In our Spotlight segment, we have someone who really needs no introduction. A pioneer in grassroots basketball, Boo Williams has continuously helped kids on both the boys and girls side achieve their goal of playing at the next level. Let's see what Boo thinks about the state of basketball in the DMV.
The BWSL has been in existence since 1982. We have a long tradition. The last 30 years we've had some great players. We've had 13 guys in the NBA. We have 3 girls in the WNBA. We've had 42 Parade All-Americans. We've had 6 National Players of the Year. And we had more than 500 kids get basketball scholarships. First started playing professionally in France. Then after 2 years in France, I went to Ireland. And I was coaching in Ireland. So I coached the national girls team over there. And I like coaching girls. And then we started a program in 1982. The first 2 years of the program I didn't coach. Then I coached everything after that. I started with the boys. And then in 1986, we brought the girls program in. So I've been coaching. I like coaching. I used to be relaxation, still is. Well, recruiting process changed because of the internet. Now everything's internet driven. I mean, you got internet, you got rankings of 3rd and 4th graders. I mean, this whole thing has changed now than what it used to be. When we first started, you didn't have time period. You can recruit in ever. A college coach can see you in June, May, April. You ain't have none of this tough stuff. They could call you at home. They could take you out to dinner. I mean, so I think we have made too many regulations. I think the coaches don't really get to know the kids like they used to know. Second thing, they take out some of the people, whether them calling me, they don't need to call me if they were interested in a young lady or a young man. They just call them. So you add a third party into it. And some of the third parties been good, and some haven't been as good. With the internet and the ranking system, when we first started 28 years, we first started AAU 28 years. We had the summer league for 30. It was no ranking system. I mean, you're just glad to be out there playing. A trip for us was going to Norfolk was a big trip. Now the things have changed so drastically that the ranking, they were if I'm number 1 or number 5 or number 10 and where I'm ranking, and there's so many rankings. There have been very good players in the DMV a long time. When you talk about the district, Maryland, Virginia, there have been very good players there in a long time. They've always had great players there. Back in before I was born, there always been great players there. Elgin Baylor, and always been great players in the D.C. area and the Maryland area. You talk about Baltimore, all the great players they had in Maryland. And Virginia had a great player. You look at all the big guys. You talk about Sampson, you talk about Alonzo Mourning, you talk about Joe Smith, JRV, Moses Malone, probably the best of all the big guys. So, I mean, you look at the guys and girls that we had in the DMV, I mean, nobody can compare with them. Good. I mean, I think there's just much talent here than anywhere. I mean, you look at New York, Chicago, Philly. We got much talent here, LA, and then anywhere, Dallas and Houston, anywhere. So I think, our kids in our area do a very good job. Lakeisha Fett was probably the best. Lakeisha Fett was really good. I mean, she was number 1 player in the country. She was really, really talented. Lakeisha Fett, and they went on with Georgia. And probably next after that, Monica Wright had probably the most talent after Lakeisha Fett. Biggest thing about women's basketball is see what the new NCAA rules is, see how the NCAA rules will come in and all that stuff. So that'd be the biggest thing, how that's gonna play out.
My advice to young ladies in the DMV is that if you put your mind to something that you want to do in your future, is to stick to it. I mean, it's not gonna come easy, it's not gonna be easy, and you just gotta work hard to make it happen. I always knew that I wanted to stay close to home, so I had the 3 top choices, which was Maryland, George Washington, and Delaware State. It just feels good to know that playing home is my home. And you always know that there's someone's watching. And I think that's the good thing about it.
What's the one thing you would say to the young ladies at the DMV?
Who's next?
Welcome back to the Tri-State Report. We want to wish Boo Williams and his staff continued success. In our next segment, we were on location in Hampton, Virginia at the Premier East Invitational for the first leg of the summer evaluation period to ask a couple of coaches why the DMV is so important in their recruiting process.
We've been on the rise of being a good team, a top team in the nation, is to get more kids to come out to go to Georgetown so we can increase our fan base. So it's probably our #1 priority in recruiting right now.
How do the recruits from the DMV rate against the nation's recruits?
Well, since I've been able to be an AAU coach and a high school coach in the area, it's been important for me to be an advocate to let people know that the DMV girls is probably some of the best in the nation. We believe that we can get to the Final Four and hopefully win a national championship with the DMV. So we think they're pretty good.
Coach, why do you recruit in the DMV?
You have some very, very explosive young talent here, young ladies that play with a lot of energy, come from a positive team environment, and I think they would benefit our program with the style of ball that we play.
Coach, how do the recruits from the DMV rate against the nation's recruits?
Wow. Out of a scale of 1 to 10, they are definitely 9s, 10s. Solid kids academically, athletically, and socially.
Thanks for joining us here on the Tri-State Report. Have great, safe travels this summer.
Yes,
See you down the line.
Thank you, sir.
Maryland was my first choice. It's been my first choice for a number of years. As time went along and I started getting older and going through the recruiting process, I opened my interest up a little bit to a couple other schools, but Maryland was definitely always my first choice. It was just a fun experience all the way around, just getting to play with. It was just a lot of fun. It was a good experience for me. I had so much support just coming from the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area, so it's just always good to be close to home.
What's the one thing you would say to the young ladies at the DMV?
Who's next?
Welcome back to the Tri-State Report. We want to thank Coach Brown and Coach Valentine for taking time out of recruiting to talk with us. In our second installment of Who's Next, we'll be talking with Amber Singletary. Amber, an Ole Miss University commit who chose to wait out the process because of her belief in herself. Let's see why Amber left the DMV to continue on her journey.
Playing at Seton Keogh was probably the best basketball experience I've had being young. I learned how to play defense. I sharpened my offensive tools, teamwork, definitely learned leadership from Seton Keogh, and being on a competitive team every year and having a team that's competitive not only in our league but in leagues across and the DMV and other places, like playing in the National High School Tournament. It's just a great experience. I knew about in 10th grade after playing with Asia Bussey and seeing how far she went with basketball and seeing when basketball took her. And even after freshman year when we had our guard BJ Williams, when she went to Temple, that's when I kind of had an idea that I wanted to play at the next level. I chose Ole Miss because, as you know, I had a bunch of earlier offers. But when I sat down with my parents and discussed all of them, I just felt like I wanted more, and I could get more with the ability that I had. I wasn't trying to knock any schools that gave me scholarship because they were all great schools, but I just felt being a woman, definitely, you don't know how far basketball was going to take you, so I definitely wanted to play at the highest level I could when I could. So, my goals for college, I want to definitely rebuild the team because they didn't really have a good season last year, but I definitely want to be a part of helping rebuild the team. Definitely get a good education. Ole Miss is a great school. Got a major in graphic design, minor in business. So I want to go somewhere with that and just have a good 4 years and see where it takes me. I plan on playing as long as God allows me to. I'd love to play after college overseas or anywhere, but if that doesn't happen the next 4 years, I'll just make the best of them and then see where it goes. Something I'd like to say is don't settle for anything, even if in the classroom, anywhere, don't settle, but also don't be afraid to give stuff a chance. When I say don't settle, I don't mean knock everything because you want to play at a Duke or Connecticut, but definitely know your ability and know what you're capable of, and don't let anybody take that from you, because that's the most important thing, knowing what you can do. Because if you know it, then other people will start to see it, and that's what you need to start from.
I'd probably say when I was like 12 or 13, I remember telling my parents that basketball was what I wanted to do, that I wanted to, be great at it and be a professional basketball player. I'm trying to improve on everything, honestly. I want to be a WNBA All-Star, want to play in the Olympics, so, there's always room for improvement no matter, how good you are or who you are.
What's the one thing you would say to the young ladies at the DMV?
Who's next?
Welcome back to the Tri-State Report. We want to thank our guests that made our program possible today. We want to wish Taylor and Amber much success as they enter the next phase of their lives. Thanks for joining us tonight on the Tri-State Report, the portal to girls basketball in the DMV.
I'm taking over as the new representative of the District of Columbia, Maryland, NBA. Hey, ain't gotta agree with what I said, but soon you're gonna face the facts to what I say. I'm taking over.